You know, and I guess he just said that that's just what makes him happy playing. It's
Yeah.
just what he likes doing.
Yeah, because he's definitely said after several of his recent wins, especially against Zenono, that it's just who he's feeling comfortable with and enjoying more. But it looks like he's branching out to other characters as well, including Greninja here.
Taking a page out of NK Leo's book.
Oh.
Go!
Yeah. It's always weird to see people changing up who they're choosing based on recent tournaments like this. And Byleth, definitely one of those characters that has good disjoints, but we'll see how that fares against the speed that Greninja brings to the table.
Definitely a character that can cover a lot of ground and can move in, move out. Good at kind of doing some dash dancing, making you whip, and doing some bait and punish.
Yeah, but the big problem is how much experience does Quark have playing against Byleth, because this is definitely not one of those characters that you see often at this level.
How much experience does anyone have? Let's be real.
You'd have to go to probably Meister to get some information on that.
Charge Bow decides to bail out, realize Greninja can close that ground pretty quick, and up air, let's see if he converts it. No, Dylster's a good SDI, getting back down to that platform before any more damage dealt.
Waiting for that air dodge, but that platform just letting Quark get that shield out in time. That could have been a brutal punish with an up air.
Bro, takes control of the stage. Oh, that's going to be a regrab, and yes, the down tilt to F smash confirm off the ledge. That's going to be the first stock taken away in top 48 as Dylster is taken by Quark.
Yeah, you really have to be careful about those regrab situations, because if you're not quick on the uptake to get back to the stage, you're going to get punished hard.
I like that roll through down tilt. I mean, he's so quick, so quick.
There we go. Oh, but sacrificing a stock to take that one, not the trade you want.
Not worth it.
There we go. They're going to be able to catch him. Finally, Dylster going to get a little bit of offense here.
He shot that the wrong way, though.
It feels like it's hard for Byleth to hit Greninja because a lot of his moves on the ground, especially that down tilt, just push him so low that it's hard to hit him with those aerials.
I feel like Dylster's really having trouble ledge trapping or really putting too much pressure on Quark when he's been off stage.
Yeah, I mean, there we go.
Just as I mentioned it.
Yep. I mean, Byleth definitely has some very strong drop-down options off of that ledge just because of that fair, but it doesn't matter when you're the one off stage. And, coming in underneath that side B and just devastating back.
Well, and the thing is, Dylster saw it coming. There's no other reason why that side B was going to come out right there.
Yeah.
He saw it coming, but Quark's still able to get underneath it.
Yeah.
I bet you Dylan's just as surprised as we are.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the weak spots that Byleth has is she's got good distance in front of her, but like at those diagonals, there's not really too much she has to cover herself. Maybe the nair at best, but definitely got to be careful of which direction your opponent's approaching you from.
Stop battle, Greninja.
Quark sticking with Greninja, but Dylan looking at the screen, takes him a second, but finally decides to go right back to Byleth.
Yeah, I mean, aside from that one trade, it could have been a much closer match, so we'll see if it turns out a little bit closer on this close quarters stage of small battlefield. I do like.
It's always interesting to me when people, you know, they lose at Pokemon Stadium, but then they run it back to small battlefield. Fairly similar, but I mean, I guess that just goes to show that it wasn't the platforms that was bugging him, it was more the blast zones and how wide the stage is in general.
Yeah, because there's that huge open space in the middle that you have to be able to defend against your opponent. It's a lot easier to find some cover on this stage because those platforms are so much closer. Oh, good air dodge, unfortunately for Quark.
That was a whoopsie Daniel. You see Dylan like throw his hand like, sorry man.
Hey, you always got to be sure there's some ground underneath you when you're throwing out that move.
Well, he threw it out, got some damage with it, and tried to double dip with it. Yeah, no double dipping here, Quark.
Yeah, you only get one scoop this time around.
Got a double, yep, all right. Back safely this time. Scared with a fair. Creates the space. Pushing Quark back to the stage. Quark finally gets the pause back on to Dylster. Take stock number 1.
Yeah, that down tilt just sets up so nicely for so many of Greninja's combos.
Try to use the platform up. Does takes a minute, but he finally starts the string here. Ooh. There's a jab lock. Goes for a tilt. Yeah, if he can follow up. No. Maybe?
Still able to chase down after that air
This
dodge.
has been a juggle and a half here. Finally, Dylan to be able to get his feet back. Reversing for a second, but doesn't take long for Quark to get back to stage. Aggressive over the ledge.
Yeah, finally able to find some ground, but Dylster doing everything they can to try and take off the stock before Quark can take advantage of the rage. There we go, scoop him up. Now it's 1 stock to 2.
Still. First time we've seen that all match.
It feels like Quark's waiting for a panic option from Dylster, but Dylster hasn't really been giving it to him, but that up smash should be able to outrange that Nair at least, and finally even up the stocks.
Dylster slight percentage lead, adding to it here. 78% on Quark, 0 on Dylster. Dylster has stage control and is, very close to a JV2. The Quark still living.
There we go, gets Nair, gonna send him back off stage and see if we can get an edge guard. Nope. Let's use that high with the pump, get back on the
Finally. It's like the first time in like 30 seconds, Quark has been left of that left side platform. Sorry, right of that left side platform. Really struggled to get up, but now that he's in neutral, it's looking a whole lot more even.
Yeah, this is why you want to make sure that he stays on that ledge, because if you let Quark get rolling, there's going to be some good damage coming out.
Does it do it? Finally, from center stage, look, he shakes his head as he wins.
Allow me to demonstrate.
Yeah, Quark probably trying to run back to try and outspace, but it is difficult to outspace Byleth.
Yeah. So those disjoints can be horrendous to work around.
Oh, absolutely. So we'll see where they're going to be working around on stage 3 here as we get the counter pick coming out from Quark this time. If I had to take a wild guess, I'm going to put my money on Kalos.
Greninja.
Well, you got a 1 and 2 shot, kind of. With
Yeah,
the music.
I mean, we heard the Pokemon music,
Yeah.
though it could be 1 and 4 nowadays.
Right.
Oh, we got Kalos, which makes sense because, like you were talking about in Game 2, wasn't much distance between those platforms. You got the entire stage to work with now with those platforms off to the side.
And I've seen Quark hit Kalos a lot when he's playing Greninja, just because of this little slight advantage you have when you're at disadvantage being able to get that wall grab.
Yeah, that is true. It's one of those things that you don't really think about much because this is really the only stage that we have with those vertical walls, aside from Yoshi's story, that reach down that far.
I mean, it makes sense because like we noticed last game, Quark took so much of his punishment, so much damage while he was in a disadvantage. Just have another little mix-up to get yourself out of those situations can be a big help, can be a game changer.
Yeah, I mean, the more things you have to mix up your timing, the harder it is for your opponent to predict when you're coming back.
Oh boy.
Ooh. Man, and the height you can get off that jump off the wall.
Got greedy.
Oh, nice pivot grab. Gonna send him right back out, though.
Nair trying to get back into it, but the trade at center stage. But it's going to be Dylan that goes through the side blast zone. Quark still living with his 3rd stock.
Yep. And with this much space for Greninja to work with, it's going to be hard for Dylster to pin him out. Because Greninja, while he might not have the best aerial drift, that ground speed is difficult to contend with. Oh! Shadow sneaking out there to seal out the stock, and Quark is just running away with it.
That was a 0D, essentially. Quark has not taken damage since Dylster has had 3 stocks.
Absolutely not. I mean, Quark has just been smothering this disadvantage state of Dylster's.
I feel like 95% of this game has been fought on the right side of this stage and off the stage.
Oh, there we go. Catching Quark being a little bit too aggressive that time, and manages to get the bear to send him off to the blast zone. But the problem is there's still 2 Quark stocks left here, so it's going to be an uphill battle still for Dylster to keep this winner's run alive. Nice.
Okay.
Oh, that
And that tall ceiling, though, not even close to killing, but yeah, I'm surprised it connected too.
Force jump there.
Quark running into a neutral. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe